So as you know, I filed two ethics complaints, one against Greg Kimsey because he misled the county council in July of 23 when he sent them a letter saying that there were several campaign recounts, and then he only told them about one of the results, which was two ballot errors in the Don Benton recount, and didn't include, he omitted, he was not forthright, and he did not include the 14 ballot errors additionally from the Joe Kent campaign. So he gave this impression that nothing to see, very dismissive. He misled the council. I filed a complaint, gave them the information, and what they decided, so this was last Friday, was bizarre. It was really bizarre, and I want you to listen to it. So take a listen, and before I share with you, I'm going to put up on the screen right now the text or the email in question, and you can read it for yourselves. That it says, that several campaign recounts, that there was these HAVA violations. And then when you read his explanation, he only mentions two ballot errors. However, there were 16 ballot errors that were certified in the as a result of the recount. So there were 16 ballot errors, but he only told the council two. And he didn't give them also background information, which really paints the picture that there was only two ballot errors out of 205,000 ballots, which would be really a small percentage. The truth is that there was only 11,000, little over 11,000 ballots reviewed with 16 ballot errors, which produced a 1 out of 742 error rate, which is massive. Anyways, the Ethics Commission, which, by the way, this was a preliminary stage of the ethics. They're only supposed to examine the complaint itself, okay, what is this complaint saying? And are there ethic standards that it could be in conflict? So, for example, the fact that Kimsey refused to shake my hand at the Don Benton recount, which is true. He refused to shake my hand. I could file an ethics complaint. Okay, Kimsey didn't shake Rob Anderson's hand. Is there an ethics policy? No, there isn't. It's not nice, or maybe he should, but there's really no ethics policy that he violated. Next, right? So that's the way it's supposed to go. That's just an example. What happened and is happening in all of them, not just mine, but all of the complaints so far, the commission is doing a full examination and weight and measure of these complaints. And of course they have very little information, because there's just a few statements that you write in a complaint. The HR department for the county gets to write a memo, and the county provided attorney gets to talk in their ears in executive session. And they're coming out of these and they're making decisions based on the merit of the complaint, which is not supposed to happen. They're supposed to go, like I said, very preliminary. Here's the complaint as we know it. Here's the ethics policies as we know it. Is there a conflict? Yes or no? Yes, let's investigate. No, sorry, Charlie. And on all of the ethics complaints, so on mine with Kimsey, they said, well, listen to what they say.
Okay, so to me, as I view Mr. Anderson's complaint, I think it raises similarly, it raises a valuable point that public officials, elected officials, candidates for office should be held to a high standard of honesty, and I think that our ethics code reflects that. The allegation is that Auditor Kimsey misled the councilors by stating that there were only two errors in the 2022 ballot recounts while certifying more. And the trouble that I had with this one, let me get my notes up here. The trouble I had with this one is that I don't read Commissioner's statement asserting that there were only 2 errors as necessarily misleading, but rather that the specific allegation that he was addressing in the comment in the documents that we were sent implicated 2 specific errors. Other allegations might have implicated more of the 16 that he apparently certified, but those were not necessarily implicated by the specific question that he was addressing in this paragraph that was highlighted here on page 4 of 5 of the document. Or at the very least, I can't determine from the complaint that more errors should have been included in this particular response. So in that way, I think it's similar to the McKenna complaint in that we have, some valid points, but not necessarily enough to constitute an investigation.
So does that sound like that they are, I mean, it sounds like that they are defending what Kimsey did, does it not? That's not what they should be doing at this stage. They should be just evaluating, okay, is this the way that we read the complaint? And these are the policies? Yep, there's a match, there's a problem, there's a conflict. Let's investigate. So either they're really inept or this is very intentional. Let me just address then my second complaint, which was against the prosecuting attorney's office, which I thought was way stronger. I mean, it was like black and white. And that is that I filed in a proposed initiative on December 19th, and on December 21st, the county sent me a letter, the prosecuting attorney's office, saying, we're not going to do it. We're not going to allow this to go to a ballot. And there's no home rule charter authority that they cited. There's no real serious justification given. They just did it. And, I filed the writ of mandamus. You know the rest of the story. The prosecuting attorney's office said, oh, crap, we're going to this isn't going to turn out well, so we're going to reverse this decision. So they reversed the decision. And that's what I filed the complaint on is that they didn't follow the home rule charter. They broke the law. The ones that are supposed to prosecute and uphold and make sure that it's upheld just said, no, we're not going to do it. And they determined that it did not rise to an ethics complaint. So just let that, one of the reasons why I do this is not, for the apparent reason is obvious, right? But there's a secondary motive that I have. And that is to demonstrate when things do go off the rails like this. Like, is everyone watching this? Is anyone paying attention to this? It brings light to this corruption, which it is corruption. So the fact that, they're just dismissing. So the prosecuting attorney's office can break the law, cannot follow the home charter rules, law, and it's not an ethics violation. Mr. Kimsey can mislead, can omit information, can mislead by withholding, which according to their ethics policy, withholding, not being forthright or withholding information is just as bad as deceiving or misleading. It's of the same ilk. So that's where we're at with this. It was bizarre. It was bizarre, procedurally bizarre. The outcome, I don't like the outcome, but their explanations are clearly that they weighed and measured the complaint itself and also, the other side of the issue, and that's just not what was supposed to be. So anyways, that's what's going on with the complaints. Pretty wild. Keep charging, keep moving forward. See, when we press forward, you file the complaints, you do these, even though, you don't get the results you want, you get to see how this is done. You get to see the corruption. You get to see what they will do. For example, filing the Restore Election Confidence Initiative, you saw what they were willing to do to try to stop it. They were willing to break the law and completely disregard it. So we can't give up. I mean, it's discouraging, but on the other hand, it's not. It's revealing, and there'll never be change unless we see. You got to see before you're willing to make change. Until that, no one wants to make change. So anyways, thought I'd give you the scoop.